And last one, Brian Pillman, the loose cannon. This is honestly one of Luke Cage 29's favorite wrestlers, one of his favorite characters out there. He really caught my eye when he was in WCW, and I used to watch the WCW morning shows when he was just flying. Brian Pillman. He wore orange and black tights. Of course, everybody, if you know the story, I guess. He was a football player drafted by the Cincinnati Bengals. Had a short career with them, but he sort of used that, I guess, for name recognition once he went to WCW. And he always was one of those guys that really stood out. One of the real stories that I always remember that was sort of like a main storyline that was going on when I was watching WCW was he lost a retirement match. And much like Andre the Giant with the Machines back in the 70s, he came back under a mask and he was wrestling as the Cat Dog or the Dog Cat, Cat Man, something like that. And when I watched this documentary for the first time and it wasn't mentioned on there, I was freaking pissed because it was something that I honestly just really, really remember. But Brian Pillman was one of those guys, much like Dustin Reynolds, Goldust. He's going to do anything in the world in order to get over. He wore a dress. He pulled the gun on Stone Cold Steve Austin. Anything in the world. He didn't care about what he said. One of the most famous stories, he negotiated pretty much his own release from WCW, called out Kevin Sullivan as the booker man on live pay-per-view, and then Bischoff flipped out, fired him, knowing that he would get a job for he would get a job for ECW, and he'd be able to get hot, and then Bischoff thought that he would come back to WCW and be hotter than ever, and they would have sort of like a work storyline. Only problem was that Bischoff really fired him. He went to ECW, got hot as hell. He wore t-shirts to sell his own 1-900 number. I've learned a lot of stories that Pillman was one of the guys that was always sort of hand in hand with Dave Meltzer, calling in, seeing on things, and Meltzer helped him sort of negotiate his contract with Vince, seeing what he should ask for and stuff like that. But a guy that was honestly really connected, went to WWE. The tragic thing is I think it was before he signed with WWE, he got into a car accident where his car drove off the side of the road when he fell asleep, had a massive ankle injury, and he was just never able to come back as the Brian Pillman that he was. He did have a tragic accident where he died, and we didn't get to see the end of his career. And I don't know. Should be a fun watch. I'm definitely going to watch this sooner than the other 3 DVDs. So we'll check that out as soon as we can. Definitely check out Paul. Definitely check out WrestleManiac. And I really appreciate you guys checking this out.